This is Cities in Motion 2. I'm just going to go over some general gameplay. This is a city I've been playing for probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years, I'm not sure. But I play whenever I get a chance. I only play perhaps a half an hour a day. Most of the time I let the city grow. Now one of the things I'm going to point out is that over here you can hit this little megaphone, and you'll notice that even though I've just started, I won't have any messages here. And the reason why is because I fixed most of the problems that occur in the game. For example, one of the biggest problems you're going to have is that you don't have enough buses, so they miss their departure time. Or the buses can't return to the depot and they miss the departure time. And I've been able to resolve that problem using a variety of different techniques. So it's rare that I get any messages appearing over here. The first thing I'm noticing here is that I've got a bus line that has some people that are waiting. And you don't want people waiting because that's a loss of money. So I'm going to click on this stop over here. And there's a link to open up the bus line and a link to open up the bus depot. This is bus line 61. I need to get more buses on bus line 61. So I'm going to look at the schedule and I'm going to go to custom. And I'm going to set it at a 1-minute interval and hit OK. And you'll notice it jumped up to 22 from I think it was 9 up to 22. I think that might be a little bit too many, so I'm going to go back to custom. I'm going to make it a 1.5 interval, and it brought it down to 18. I'm going to go back to custom, and I'm going to do a 2-minute interval, and it brought it down to 16. Now, 16, and then above we have 5. That's a total of 21 buses, but we only have 17. So we're short 4 buses. I'm going to buy at least 4 more buses. Now, when you purchase buses, there's 2 types of buses you want to buy. Number 1, you want to buy the buses that have the highest capacity, and they're usually the ones at the bottom. For example, you'll see it says size large, 35 seats. This one only has 32, this one has 30. The one that has 35 seats is going to carry more passengers, it's going to generate more money. However, it's not necessarily the all-around best bus. One of the other issues you're going to have is the maintenance requirement per 100 kilometers. This has an 8-minute maintenance requirement, which is high compared to this one, which is only 6.5. I'm going to scroll through, and you'll see there's a bus here, the Evo Urban, which I purchase a lot of these, has a 4.5-minute maintenance requirement. It carries fewer passengers, probably 30% fewer passengers. However, the maintenance time is about half of my other buses. So what this means is that when you need buses and they're all in the shop for repair, this one's going to get out the fastest. So you want to have a couple of these on hand, especially for those long bus routes. It'll make sure that your buses get out of the depot faster when you need them. One of the things I don't want to do is have too many buses going out when it's not necessary. When you have a long bus line, you're going to run into problems where you have stops that have a lot of people waiting, and you can see there's a lot of them that have 0 people waiting. Now, another one of the issues that I'm looking at that concerns me is that I've got a lot of empty space over here. The density of the houses and the buildings is not high enough to fill in all this space. Don't necessarily consider these permanent constructions. For example, if I'm not happy with the density, I can delete all these roads and rebuild them. You want to do so with care because obviously you've got bus stops that you'd have to rebuild. So I'm going to do it carefully. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to insert a one-way road. It has to have a sidewalk in order to have buildings. I'm going to have it go behind these buildings, and you have to build it in such a way that it's touching the ground. You don't want it to become a bridge. And I'll show you how you can tell the difference. You have to do short segments at a time. You can see I got a little bit of a tunnel over here. And then I'm going to connect it up to here. I'm going to build the halfway point and then all the way. That reduces the chance that it makes a bridge or a tunnel. As you can see, it did not. It was laid down properly on the surface. You can see over here, there's an example of where a bridge was built. It's right here in the center of the screen. And when you have this bridge built, you're not going to have houses built alongside of it. But unfortunately, due to the layout of the land, it was not possible to connect the roads without a bridge being built. Don't underestimate the value of a one-way road. A one-way road uses up very little space, and it's going to allow me to have houses built in all this empty space next to this road, to the left of this road. I'm going to be able to get an extra row of houses in there. And as you can see, there's a lot of plots of land here that are open. For example, I've got houses on this road which lead to the depot. This road was intended to be for the depot, and there's houses that were built along it, which I knew would happen when I laid that down. Now there's a lot of empty space behind these houses, so I'm going to build, again, another one-way road. When I'm building it, I can see that that's a bridge, and the reason why is because I can see the white railing on the side of the bridge. Now the railing is gone, and now the railing has come back. When it's gone, you can have houses, and when you've got that railing there, you can't. In fact, not only do I see it on the road surface, but if you look at the shadow that's generated from the road, it's up in the corner of the map, you can also see the railings from the bridge. So I'm going to lay it piece by piece using short pieces, which means the road will not be perfectly straight, but it reduces bridges and tunnels. It won't be perfect. I'm going to avoid connecting to that main road because we want fewer intersections on the main road. And I'm going to connect to this side road over here. It looks like it's not going to make the connection because of how steep it is. So I'm going to have to turn it, but I'm going to bring it down as much as possible. I'm going to find the exact point to bring it right there. And it's going to build houses on the northern side of that road that I just put down, which of course is going to increase the population of my city. And I will do the same over here. This looks like it's starting from a bridge. So I'm going to carefully lay down this one-way road. And again, these are temporary structures. You really want these 4-lane roads. These 4-lane roads, as you can see, such as Birch Lane over here, can have a larger building. I've got this big building here with 50 workplaces. That's the type of building you want. And you've got this villa with only 4 residents. These smaller density roads aren't going to have those big buildings. So at some point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sacrifice all these buildings. I'm going to clear out that road, put in a higher density road. In fact, I will demonstrate right now how it's done. You select the road, you click on it. All those houses are pretty much gone now. They don't have road access. I'm going to pick a higher density road, and I'm going to build it pretty much in the same place. If the houses survive, they survive, and if they don't, they'll get rebuilt with a higher density. I'm going to need to do that throughout the map in the newer area where I have my newer construction. The reason why it's an issue is because, as you can see over here, everything was done by the game designers. They used exact measurements so their block sizes are perfect. And I'm not sure, I suppose you could measure the street and figure out how long it is for the block and build your blocks using the same measurement. Now, another thing that I do, especially when I start playing the game, is I zoom out and I look to see if there's any backup anywhere. If there's any place where there's a lot of buses that are in a line, which signifies that there's some sort of a traffic jam. And right now, I really don't see any. Even though it looks like there might be some, there really aren't. So let's take a look at some of the more heavily trafficked areas. For example, over here we've got a lot of buses in the center of the screen. Line number 27. And as you can see, there's a lot of buses waiting in line right over here. Line number 27 brings a lot of people, and I know that there's a lot of buses on line number 27. 22 buses. So it looks like they're backed up, but I really only have a couple stops on bus line 27. I'm going to show you the number of stops. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stops on that line. If you look at the mini map, you can see that the line is not that long. It comes out of the depot, goes over the bridge, it gets to the surface road, it picks up some people, and it comes back. In fact, I would have to say that it looks like there's too many buses. I'm going to increase the interval to 30. So we're going to have fewer buses over here. But this is not a traffic jam because of a normal cause. I'm going to show you some examples of what causes a traffic jam. Over here you have in an intersection, you've got people, you've got cars, you've got other vehicles. All of them can contribute to a traffic jam. If too many people are standing in a corner, they'll block the bus and the bus won't be able to move. If too many cars are coming around a turn, they can block the intersection, and likewise, too many buses can block the intersection.